Hi, today I'm going to give a bit of a tutorial on how to use the VI editor. VI is one of the major command line editors in Linux. The biggest competitor for VI is Emacs. Emacs and VI, which one you use and which one you prefer, is a religious topic more than anything else. Some people like Emacs, some people like VI. There are other editors out there. Sublime Text is great. There's IDEs, all sorts. Genie is a great IDE. But a lot of guys like to just work with a plain text editor, and they use the command prompt as their IDE. I started my career as a VI hater, so I came from the Microsoft world, and in Microsoft in 1996, when I started programming professionally, everyone was using IDEs. We were all using Developer Studio. To go to VI with its backwards command mode and editor mode and whatnot didn't make any sense to me. However, I've been using Linux since '96 as well, and after a certain amount of time, I just adapted myself to use VI more and more. And then a few years back, I decided to actually get some expertise in VI. And once I did that, and I was really comfortable with the tool, my productivity from a text editor perspective went through the roof. VI is a little different, and it's not like a regular text editor where you're just typing in text and hitting up arrow and backspace a bunch of times. You're really typing commands as you edit text in the system. Because of that, it is a lot more complex to learn. However, once you learn it, it's kind of like learning an instrument. Your hands move, and you're not really thinking what you're doing. They move, do the actions, and it all appears on the screen. So it's really, that's how I see it, is learning this instrument and how to code. I'm just going to start here. I've got 3 files in my directory, and I'm going to edit one of the files. So I can quickly load up the session class. So basic navigation is pretty straightforward. You can actually use the up arrow and down arrow to go just like you would in a regular text editor, left arrow. However, VI also maps H, J, K, and L, which is sort of the preferred way to navigate through text. And the reason it's preferred, even though it takes a little bit of time to remember, is that your fingers remain on the center of the keyboard. So it makes things, if you're really wanting to be a VI master, you can use H, J, K, L to move throughout the screen. VI has 3 modes of operation: command mode, normal mode, and insert mode. Right now I'm in normal mode, and that's where you start out when you first load up the file. So this lets you navigate throughout the text file as you want. Now, if I want to insert some text into here and I just start typing, it's actually going to be entering in a bunch of commands, so it's going to do weird stuff if I type things in. If I actually just want to insert text, I hit I to go into insert mode, and you see at the bottom of the screen it says insert, and I can go enter my text. This is my new comment. To exit out of insert mode, you hit the escape key. So it's now out and it's back into normal mode. Now the third mode is command mode, so you use the colon in order to get into command mode, and you see I'm at the command prompt here at the bottom, and from here I can execute whatever command I want to run, or I can just exit out and hit enter, and I'm out of command mode and back into normal mode. Now this is where it gets great, because if you're in normal mode, you can do a lot of stuff to go throughout the file by typing in, basically little macro commands. So I'm going to go to the top of the file by hitting 1G, which is go to line number 1, and I just went to line number 1. I can hit pick another line number, so 55, and then G, and it will go directly to line 55. So there I am on the line. So if I was getting an error in PHP, and it said error was on line 55, it's on my screen, I can load up the file, hit 55, hit uppercase G, so shift G, and to go to that line. Now the other thing I can do is I can just hit shift G by itself without any modifier, without any numeric modifier at the start, and it will go to the end of the file. So 3 really quick commands just by typing something. I don't have to look for a menu, I don't have to scroll, I don't have to do that sort of stuff. I just go 1G to the start of the line, G to the end of the file, and then whatever line number, if I want to migrate to it, say 34, G, and I'm on line 34. Super easy. I can also go to the end of a line or the start of the line really easy. So the end of the line is $, and the start of the line is caret. So that goes to the start. Okay, so one thing that I can do is I can navigate through blocks. So you see here's my opening brace. If I hit %, that will bring me to the closing brace that corresponds to that. So that's a really handy little feature, especially if you're, don't have a lot of vertical space on your screen. You can pop through things really quickly. Now, another thing that you can do is you can use the brace character. If you type that in normal mode, and it will bring you to the next block. So the next blank block, depending on how you code, you'll have better results or worse results. So I can, see how it's going to the next blank, and then if I go brace again, it goes to the next blank, next blank, next blank, next blank. Oh, I got a lot of blanks there. Able to navigate quickly through the blocks of the code. There is line numbers on the side of the screen. One thing I can do is I can go, if I don't like those, I can go into command mode, and I can go set no number, and the numbers are gone. Or I can go where I like them. I like to have them on, set number, numbers are on the side of the screen. That's just an example of going into command mode and actually running a command. Okay, so basically there's a few different ways you can insert text into the file. So you can use an insert mode by hitting I, easy to remember, and you just start typing away. This, that's just some test text. I can enter lines, whatever. To exit out of insert mode, I hit escape. As you can see there, it's going back and forth between insert and normal mode. One of the things that you're normally doing when you are coding is you're adding a line underneath an existing piece of code. So to do that, VI's got a built-in shortcut. So you hit the O key, and what it does is it creates a new line, and it puts you in insert mode, so you can now insert your new code. So x equals 0, and there's my great new code line. I can also append to this line. So let's see that. If I hit Shift A, that goes to the end of the line, and now I can start typing my text that I want to put in there. So x equals 0, comment, reset this variable for testing. Okay, so I hit escape and I'm back out of insert mode. So there's a few different ways that you can actually insert text into a line. Now in VI, all of the commands have a numeric modifier that you can put at the start of them. So it will repeat it that many times. So if I do a replace command, but I type 7 first, so 7 R, and then I replace that with an X, it replaces all 7 characters with an X. You can think of any of these commands that you can do. You can basically add a numeric modifier that will either repeat it or it will change the behavior of the command, which is a really handy feature of the editor itself. If you want to delete a character, you hit the X key while you're in normal mode, so XX. I can go 2X, and that deletes 2 X's. The other thing that you can do is you can delete a whole line. So to delete a whole line, you hit DD. So DD, gone. DD, gone. Now what happens in VI actually when you delete a line is that the text actually goes into a register. So it's essentially your clipboard. So if you want to copy something or cut and paste something, you actually delete it, then you hit the P key to paste it back in. So now I'm pasting it, paste it again so it's in the register, and I can paste it as many times as I want. Now I've got a whole bunch of extra lines here, so like I said about the modifiers, I'll hit 5 and then DD, and that deletes all of those. It did a DD 5 times. So to cut and paste is a little bit different than what you'd be used to in a regular editor. What you normally do is you drop a marker. So you hit M marker, and then you give the marker a name. So it could be any letter. I always just use marker A and marker B. So I hit M, A, and that laid marker A down. And then I can go yank with the Y key, and then apostrophe yank to A, and then that copied, it says 6 lines yanked, it copied those 6 lines into the buffer. And now I can hit paste the P key, and that will paste those buffer contents onto the screen. So I'm going to do this again. I'm going to mark A, and then instead of yanking, I'm going to do delete. So I'm going to go D apostrophe A, and that deletes it from the screen. However, it's still in the buffer. It's actually still in the cut and paste register. VI does have an undo mode, so I can delete a line here, and then if I hit undo, it reverts that last change that I did. So, pretty standard functionality that you would get in an editor there. The way undo works in VI is that there are multiple registers. I'm not going to get into registers in this tutorial, but it's not as simple as just having one cut and paste buffer. There's actually like 20 that you can work with and use while you're editing your code. Another function that you're going to want to use in any editor is search. So I'm going to look for, say, the word function. To do that, I hit the slash key, and then I type the string that I'm looking for. So function, and then it found it there. And I can hit the N key to get the next occurrence of that word. So I can just keep going through the code here. There we go. Great. Function, function, function. Another thing I can do is, this is a great function for navigation, is if I'm editing something. So here is a comment, and then I go to back somewhere else, and I start working somewhere else in the file. I can hit Control O to go back to the last place I was in the file, which is awesome, and it will actually go to the previous file that you were in as well. So if you're working with a bunch of files, you can float through them pretty easily. The last function that I want to show you on this demo is split screen mode. So to get into split screen mode, you can type Control WV, and that splits your screen vertically. You can also go Control WS to split it horizontally. So you see here, it has split that screen horizontally. Now, when you do a split, it still has the same file you were working with in memory there. So you've got two copies of the same file. This is actually great because what you can do is, if you're looking at the top of the file here, and you want to look at the bottom of the file here to make sure your parameters are all set or whatever, you can do that in the same file. Normally, however, you'll be working on two separate files. So from there, just go :E to edit, and then you can hit dot, and that will give you a directory of the files in the current directory. And I want to pick another file here, so I'm going to pick model, and now I'm editing two files on screen. This isn't a big deal, of course, if you're used to an IDE, but I didn't have to use the mouse at all. I was able to do this all by keyboard. To switch between windows, you hit Control WW, and that just flips through the windows that you have. And I can go Control WV to open another window, Control WW, Control WW, Control WW, and I'm going through those files. So to save your file, you go : to get into command mode, and you type W to write it, and it writes the file. It'll say on the screen that it wrote the file, how many characters it wrote, how many lines there were. Now the last thing you'll want to do once you're done editing your file is you'll want to quit out. So you can go quit, and the exclamation mark just exits without confirming, and there you go. You're back in your command prompt. So here's my wonderful set of files. I hope that gave you a bit of an inkling of what you can do in VI, maybe get you interested into using VI. There's lots of tutorials online, lots of information online, but I hope my video helped you a little bit in seeing what it could be valuable for. Have a great day, and I hope to see you on my channel again.